The Canadian Conspiracy.
There is not and never has been a conspiracy.
There may be as many as 30,000 of them in Canada. Followers of a worldwide anti-government philosophy preached endlessly online.
All of their rules have no power over us.
I haven't filed income taxes or paid income taxes in 17 years now.
Using obscure legalese and old texts, they genuinely believe cops and courts and governments have no control over them.
And some Canadians don't think it's that bad, that it's not a threat. That is a threat.
The National Post quoted us as saying we're here to free the Masons.
The National with Peter Mansbridge.
People calling me a coward. They're coming at me 5-1. Calm down, you're arresting peaceful protesters for doing nothing.
Due to the severity of the accusations made in this program, CBC Television feels that Canadians should be made aware of its content.
Well, you know, some information can't get out, and that is why it's important to keep on, you know, with this radio station. We went through it with the CBC documentary, which well, I haven't really mentioned.
Some censorship,
and
that's
that that was a copyright that was a case of copyright infringement when we put it up on YouTube for everyone to see. It's a historic documentary. CBC, you should have stayed at home about the G20. And, you know, it's about, you know, that's a real moment in Canadian history, what happened last June 2010. But it's, I guess it's too current for it to be considered history because they're currently removing it from YouTube. Now, CBC, we know as a media outlet, is a corporation, definitely a corporation. CBC Radio Corporate, Canada Broadcasting Corporation.
Canadian Conspiracy.
You know, if you want to get the news, you need to seek the truth.
The reality, the Prime Minister is the Chief Executive Officer of our government. The Prime Minister does not sit in his office.
Word up. So, the CEO of Canada, who will be the next CEO, may say...
In 1952, the Canadian government created CBC TV to pick up where the Lorne Green School of Broadcasting left off. With the latest television technology, the CBC quickly became command central for the Canadian conspiracy. These ultra-modern facilities allowed the CBC to process recruits at an alarming rate. Monty Hall, the man behind door number 3. It was at the CBC that Hall masterminded the game show that traded American dollars for American cents.
It's time for the all-new Let's Make a Deal, starring TV's big dealer, Monty Hall.
Everything I have today I owe to the CBC.
Rich Little, the man of 1,000 voices. It was at the CBC that Little developed the technique of undermining the highest office in our land.
Or how about President Ronald Reagan?
I am delighted to be here tonight. But then at my age, hell, I'm delighted to be anywhere.
At that time, I was doing a radio show for CBC and a lot of television, too.
But Little and Hall were only 2 of thousands to be trained by the Canadian conspiracy at Fortress CBC. Isolated inside soundproof studios, advanced methods of indoctrination were ruthlessly applied. Brainwashing sessions lasted long into the night. So intense were these so-called rehearsals that today CBC alumni can only remember the network with a gratitude that borders on reverence.
The government institution that made my whole career in California possible was unquestionably Mother CBC.
You know, everyone has different pet names for the CBC. I just used to call it Papa.
Well, the CBC was a great help to me. It's the best training ground in the world.
Well, the CBC is, I think where a lot of Canadians start. It's like a paid education. You get to receive money for writing shows that you don't really know what you're doing yet. And you can try it out, and then when you got it down, go to the States.
Space, the final frontier.
Star Trek, an American institution which for 20 years has spawned fanatical cults, kept students from their homework, and made "Beam me up, Scotty" a popular term of endearment.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Star Trek, an American institution under the control of CBC TV. And ANN researchers have the evidence to prove it. As this test film clearly shows, CBC TV was training performers to function in zero gravity as far back as 1958.
1500.
You only have one choice, right? You have what CBC it is. This is a version of the BBC.
Yeah, the communist broadcasting company. Yeah, it is BBC owned. Yeah.
So it's like BBC Light, basically, up there?
Yeah, BBC Kanadistan, the CBC. And then we've got some local channels, but yeah, it's all controlled mainstream media. Same propaganda. They try to play it a little less ridiculous than the U.S. to try to seem more credible, but it's still all lies.
CBC News The National starts now.
Conspiracy theorist, it's all in the public domain. It's public knowledge that this world is run by approximately 20 people, but not the 20 delegates at the G20. Are you trying to do a report? Who wants to see me hug the CBC reporter? Yes.